We're back, baby. Did you miss us? Tonight on Content Pending, we're going to be talking about so many things. Most likely, it's going to come back to Donald Trump, just as the prophecy declared. Content Pending, the show.
We can do that now.
Yeah, we can.
There's an actual genie.
Yeah, there's a genie in it now. Welcome, everyone, to Content Pending, the show with Travis and Dylan. I'm Travis.
Hi, I'm Dylan.
We're a podcast takes place at Don Cipo in Austin, Texas. Woo. One of our favorite bars, one of our favorite places in the entire world we live in.
We live in the bar, yes.
Yeah, we live in the bar. Both. This is North Korean territory, after all. This is a show. This is kind of a general topic show. It's kind of stuff that you talk about while you were with friends at a bar. We talk about the things that have happened over the week with some kind of libation. We can probably even talk about those if you're curious about it, but we're just at a bar and we're going to talk. Usually we have guests, especially we have comedians that live in the Austin area who are up and coming or otherwise just very fucking interesting or funny. But this week, since it's been 6 years since we recorded an episode, makes more sense for it just be the two of us.
It's been a hot minute.
It's been a hot fucking minute. So let me start off by saying this. Dylan, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right, man.
Yeah? What's been going on?
I've been resting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been on sabbatical.
Sabbatical, yeah. Great terms for unemployment. Staycationing, yeah.
How would I phrase it before? Unplanned career transitioning.
Okay, yeah. Let's go ahead and take a shot for that, because I like that a lot. It's one of our lemon shots.
Ooh, yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, it's actually
Deep Eddy
been
lemon.
really fucking long time since I've had one.
Me too. Well, we've not been recording much.
Yeah. You've been staying at home.
I've been chilling at home. You've been chilling with the wife.
Yeah. I mean, we're still coming out here once in a while, you know.
But not doing this.
But yeah, not doing this, yeah. Saturdays have actually been board game night here. Yeah, well, I really hope you get a speedy recovery.
Yeah, me too.
Because that's still a bummer.
I'm happy to talk about it. So my last job, I was there for 13 years. So when you go from one thing that you did that long,
Yeah.
Honestly, had I jumped into something else right away, it would have been a really bad idea.
Yeah.
So I definitely appreciate, especially now it's been a couple months, like, yes, I needed the mental break, just the resetting of everything in my head about who I am as a person going to another job.
Yeah.
And forgetting things I need to forget.
Yeah.
And it's been great. So the only thing I don't like about it is timing of it sucked because no one hires in November, December, which added 2 extra months to my job search because no one hires.
No one hires. No. Yeah,
So-
come on in and, take some time off, immediately.
So
yeah.
it was, that was the really unfortunate part about it. Other part about it, I've learned a lot. Oh, hey, Tammy's here. She's taking pictures.
Tammy's being sweet. She's
Aw.
excited about us coming back. Thanks,
Thank you,
Tammy.
The other thing I've learned is just I've learned a lot. So in my previous life, I've done a lot of hiring and firing of people over the years.
Yeah. This is the perspective part of it, right?
Yeah, and I have learned so much about what not to do. The next time I'm in a position to hire people, I've learned so much that it's not right. There's so much ghosting and so much just bullshit, and it's ridiculous. Looking for work is very, very. It's too time consuming, too difficult. More so than it needs to be.
Yeah.
In a handful of things. The tools that are out there, most people are using, Indeed and ZipRecruiter and all those kind of things. The tools themselves can be good, but Indeed is actually quite terrible.
Yes.
Very terrible.
Yes.
Brought
to you by the good people at Indeed.
Here's an example. So if you've never done this or if you're familiar with this or not, you upload your resume, and if you find a job that you think might be a good match, it will tell you, hey, this is a good match based on all the keywords they're doing, all the parsing that they're doing through your it's all done through algorithms looking at your resume.
Of course, yeah.
So if you have a thing, it says it's a good match, great. However, you cannot just search by great matches. Even though the company knows that you're matching, they can define when there's a great match, but you can't only look for great matches.
Yeah, it's just by keywords still, right? Like, yeah.
But it knows.
Yeah, well, of course, yeah.
But you can't. You as a job seeker can't filter that out, and even as a job recruiter, you can't filter only show me the best matching applicants. I did a bunch of homework on this because I was just trying to find why is this not a thing. This is, to me, seems like a very obvious choice,
right?
To only give me, the researcher, the best results, and the other vice versa on the other side.
Right.
And I found a job. It was like a buried somewhere on an Indeed help forum thing. It was like, why can't we do this? And the response from the moderator was, "That's a great idea. I want to pass it on to development."
Which always means we can't do anything about it.
Here's the worst part about it. That was like 2 months ago.
Oh, great.
So this isn't like, Indeed's been around for several years, and they're only now going, you know what, that might be a good idea.
I remember trying to use Indeed when I was unemployed for a bit, and it was exactly like that. I mean, because it's mostly keywords, algorithm based on whatever you have, sure, but like the accounting, especially back then, it wasn't really like you had an account and was looking for things. It's like whatever you were trying to find, it was like, hey, okay, so you had 5 to 8 years of IT and supervisor in the software, or otherwise, customer service setting, like this, and this. These are qualifications, etc. It's like, you're perfect to be an RN in Waco.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you talking? Like, I had pages and pages of nurse stuff.
Yep.
I finally get through those and see all the jobs. Like, and of course, some of them I don't want, but they're actually the jobs that I want. But it's like by the 4th or 5th page, like, of course. Okay, fine, good. I'll just go be a fucking nurse. Can I get a job right now? Like, because I need a job right now. You don't go. I mean, you're truly blessed if you have the time to go to Indeed or Monster.com or LinkedIn, God forbid, and try to find a job before you need a fucking job.
No, that's one thing I have been very, very, very thankful for. I was in a position where I was able to not worry about having to look for work for a while.
Yeah.
That's ending.
Well, sure, yeah.
But, the fact I was able to take 6 or 7 months of find the right next move.
Yeah. I'm
so thankful for that. One, like I mentioned earlier, kind of the cleansing of palate and resetting a brain stem and all that kind of stuff. But also just the fact that I was able to go through these processes that take forever and lead to almost nothing all the time.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And we're living in it. America has what 4% unemployment rate or something. Austin has like a 1% unemployment rate.
Really?
Yeah. But
oh, God.
Still taking 6 months to find anything. It's not a matter of there's not work in Austin. It's just the processes that are in place are so poor.
Yeah.
So, and for me, it's a little bit different because I'm not in a position to. I don't have a position right now. But what I really feel for is people who are in one place and they're trying to get out of it. They can't. I mean, if these are the tools that are available, if you're somebody who's middle management for like 5 years, like, no, I need to go to the next new thing. This current job has no advancement opportunities, but I know I'm better than this. I need to go something else.
Right.
Like, the amount of time and energy it takes to look for something is ridiculous. And if you are trying to, keep, hey, I'm middle management here, I'm doing great, but I know I can do better, but I don't have 20 hours a day to, send out 400 resumes and then filter through them all. And
Right. And that's why something like Indeed should be to like saying like, hey, we found a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, like, honestly, at that point, I was actually getting emails from recruiters. I mean, all the jobs were fucking trash. Mm-hmm. And I still get emails from recruiters that are trash. It's like, Windows Admin now, Windows Admin 2, which is great. And like, have at least some amount of credentials based on that and some information and experience, etc. But I'll still get like AT&T needs a guy who makes $10 an hour for 3 days contract.
Yeah.
And like,
like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. Where you get mine? I mean, like, I understand they're also fighting for it too because they need jobs in the first place. Mm-hmm. But like, then I just say like, I do this now, where I literally will just email back and say, thank you so much for reaching out. If you can guarantee at least $80 an hour and a permanent position in any job you send me, I will consider it. But do not contact me otherwise. And that usually shuts them up because they know, like, I'm not being a dick. I'm literally saying, like, I have a pretty good thing right now, and I'll only go do something crazier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, one of our friends who's been on the show in the past or whatever his name, we call him Banjo. He's our Disney friend, our little Disney prince. He, he and I are having this conversation specifically about one of our mutual friends is going to move out of Texas. He's going to move to Seattle. He's got a wife who lives in Seattle, lives all over, and she's got some money. And he is going to quit his job, and he's going to leave Texas, go to Seattle, and I guess live in a commune. Not work in a commune, but live in a commune. And that part's kind of sketchy. I don't know the entire information about that, but I do know that the idea is that he was going to leave this thing, and then he was just kind of fell in love with a woman who's going to take care of him forever.
Hey, but good on you.
Which is badass.
Yeah.
But Banjo brought up the really important point, which is but the word commune is still in play.
Yeah.
It's still in the air somewhere. It's like that fucking land dart that someone threw and someone forgot about that got stuck in the tree, and you're still playing around the fucking tree like an idiot. Because the idea is sure, you can have a lot of money, but if you have a lot of money because you're living in a yurt, it's like if you could eat sushi every single day, yes, you feel like you're privileged or happy, or lobster bisque or something. But if the only way you can do that is to get rid of everything else you love, then that's not a lateral move. And to be able to pick up, and Banjo was saying specifically because he has a kid and he has a wife. The only thing that would make him want to leave all of that is if he had at least 300% better anything, and a yurt is not a single part of better,
Well, especially in his case, he can never poop.
No, absolutely not. No. I have to go out in the woods or something.
You have to go to a different city.
Yeah, I mean, he does that anyway. Which is fine because Georgetown and Round Rock are technically different cities, I guess.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if he's one day just I'm driving to Waco because I have to take a shit.
I'm running a hotel.
As soon as his kid is 16, she's never going to poop in that house again. I love him, but the reason one of the reasons why we love him so much is because he does have a problem with poop.
He has some weird eccentricities when it comes to restrooms.
He sure does.
How does he go to Disney World?
Oh, the place is clean,
Oh,
it's probably his favorite place to poop.
Sense.
Yeah. Poop sense.
Yeah, that's a place where, if you drop a piece of gum, it's gone within 13 seconds.
Yeah. Poop probably goes into an actual wormhole and travels forward in time when the Earth isn't even here,
It goes right to the new Kathleen Kennedy's office. Ideas for new Star Wars.
Good one. Glad to be able to use that. But seriously, also
the new board,
so that's sound effects from a new board. If you've been listening to the show at any point in time, you also know that we sometimes do dumb sound effects, and I usually do it off of a laptop. If you've actually been to the show, you'll also see we used to have this huge setup of stuff, and now we got. And I feel like I'm shilling, but I'm not really shilling because I'm really happy about it.
And this is the tool we've been waiting 6.5, 7 years for.
Yeah. It's Rode, the guys who make microphones and make professional studio equipment. Rode, the product is called the Podcaster Pro. I'm sorry,
that was the Rodecaster.
Rodecaster Pro. Yeah. See, and it is really sexy, and it just has these really simple little buttons, so I can do anything I want. First.
Yeah, no, they really, again, they give us money, please, Rode. No, this is an honest plug. We've been doing this forever.
Yeah.
We record in a live situation, which is challenging by itself.
Yeah.
And we've had a laptop, a mixing board, a second mixing board, and a variety of rig things to get calls to work.
Yeah.
and this is all plug and play and works.
Oh, the funny thing about the rig that we've had too is I just realized it's so funny. In order to try to take calls, because we want to try to take calls at some point. In order to try to take calls, I basically rerouted and welded a bunch of shit together, and put this essentially an array of stuff that goes out. Goes to a different mixer that runs to a different device that comes back out, goes to a laptop that we can take phone calls from the laptop, and it just a huge array of stuff really. And what I just realized is that because I also made the box that everything fits in, it also is just so piecemeal. The entire thing is just slammed together because it's not sexy inside. I use a bunch of puffy Gorilla Glue in order to keep everything from moving around.
And it works.
Well, of course, yeah. If it's stupid and it works, it's not really that stupid. But yeah, so I'm kind of over the moon to only have this because now we can play card games if we want to. Or
Yeah, so far this is a really great little tool. And
Yeah.
my hat's off the road for finally.
finally getting it together. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and we've mentioned before. We were a big fan. Well, our main jam was the Zoom H16.
Ooh, yeah.
H16. I think it was the 16.
Which we've gone through too.
We've gone through two of them, yeah. And for the first couple of years we did the show, that was the only tool on the market that was able to actually accomplish what we needed to do.
Yeah. Which is basically, I mean, first and foremost about being portable. And this one is not as portable, but it is smaller. But I figured if we actually get to the point where we're like actually needing to be portable, the good people at Anchor, which is another fucking great company I love that make batteries,
They're great.
they have their superpower
Yeah,
bricks that
we
you
actually
plug
could
right
run
into.
that.
Yeah.
And we could do this.
Which was not really around, when we
was
started
not, yeah.
six and a half years ago.
Yeah. It'd be 7 years.
It'll be 7 years in June, right?
Yeah, 4 listeners so far.
And we love you all. If we only knew your names.
We love you both.
Yeah. Thanks, Mom. Yeah. No. So this is dope. I'm really enjoying this. I don't know exactly how the quality is going to sound at the end of it, and I also do not know how these actual files are going to come out. So it's good that it's just the two of us too, because if we had someone like if we had any person who was on a different microphone, because we're set up for 4, trying to talk at the same time, I don't know if they're mixed down or not. And if they're mixed down, then the show's basically over, because talking over each other is a fucking unfortunate clash that we have on the show.
Well, again, this is why my hat's off the road. So this project really just came out like a month ago.
Yeah.
And as of now, it still doesn't record multi-tracks, which is the thing that, believe it or not, if you do any kind of podcasting at all, if you aren't doing multi-track, you're doing it wrong.
You're doing it fucking wrong. Or you're not talking to more than one person.
Correct. Yeah, and that could be fine. If you're doing a one-on-one interview, you don't need to have that.
Yeah.
But again...
But it's much better if you do.
Us,
I mean,
yeah. But for us, live settings, we've had as many as 8 people on a show at one time, which is never again.
Yeah, please never do it. Yeah.
But that's why we had the same products for years, and so to see a new thing come around, it's exciting. I'm happy for it.
And only 4 tracks, which means that we can now finally for sure say no, only 4.
Yeah.
We're not doing anything fucking crazy, is mixing people up with microphones either.
Yeah, and again, if you're new to podcasting or if you're interested in podcasting, let that be a lesson that your forefathers learned before you.
Yeah.
4 is enough.
4 is enough. More than enough.
Never go full podcast.
Yeah, only do 5 or 6 in an orgy or a D&D party, but never go higher than that unless you have multiple DMs or... Oh, well, that's coming through the...
Yeah, that's piercing.
Let's go ahead and take a break, and we'll be right back after this. It's like fighting games, if you allow me to use a gaming reference. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. Segment 2. That loop is too short. So anyway, so general overview, if you're the first time you're listening to the show, if you're interested in what we do so far, if you made it through that first segment, I'd like to ask you a question. What's important to you? No, something I didn't bring up on the first segment, because we're talking about the actual road, is that we do now have a built-in, because I talked about having like phone calls and all the craziness, but it's now built in. It's like actually super simple.
It'll work now.
It's 802-359-7468. It's 802-359-SHOT is a phone number where you can call or text. Save that down. We recommend that you put it down as like booty call, or like the ex-girlfriend who won't stop calling, or ex-boyfriend who won't stop calling, or that you won't stop calling, for example. Anytime you're like super wasted, you can go to your phone and find the contact that says, never call this person again, whatever.
Absolutely.
Like, fucking do it, dude.
Yeah.
Put that number, 802-359-7468. Put that in. 802, I don't remember what that area code actually is for.
Pittsburgh or
Is
something?
it Pittsburgh? I mean, we were 412 for a bit, which
that was Pittsburgh.
That was Pittsburgh for sure. But thank you, Google Voice, for keeping that one thing alive. I don't know if anyone actually uses Google Voice anymore, except for like for podcasts. But it's still alive. It's still a thing. So whatever.
Speaking of Google, I got an email. Well, you probably did. We probably all did a couple days ago.
Well,
announcing the cancellation of my Google Plus account is coming soon. Which I'm like,
Yep,
I had
yep.
one?
Yep. That's in April. I still maintain. If you don't know what Google Plus is, you're everybody.
Actually, unless you're a photographer. For whatever reason, photographers adopted Google Plus for a brief period in time.
Really?
And I don't know why, because it was a terrible format for everything.
It was like going back in time. It was
Yeah.
like MySpace without all the features. It was, yeah.
But there was this couple of years ago, because I was in the photography industry. But about 2013 through like 15, there was a brief period where like photographers were like, "This is the new best thing. It's great."
Right.
And there were actually people out there who actually had a pretty good sized following, but you'd like talk to them like, "Why are you on Google Plus?" I'm like, "'Cause I am, man. It's a new thing." Like, no.
Right. I mean, the only experience with Google Plus that I had any like, and I'm surprised that it was glomped on by anybody, like adapted by anybody, whatever. But the only experience that I actually had with Google Plus that was worth it was in the very beginning of it. My good friend Ryan and I were on Google Plus together because we were hangout buddies. You know, I mean, I'm a Google guy. You're an Apple guy.
Yeah.
But I've been attached to that entire Google infrastructure or whatever.
I use Google a lot, actually.
Of course. Well, I mean, like you can't not use Google.
Well, I mean,
really.
like the Google suite of apps, the Gmail and the calendar.
Yeah.
I have all that.
It's using Hangouts. I was like, all right, well, Google Plus. It's like it was kind of integrated with Hangouts at this point. We jumped on and we wound up. And I attest to till this day, this is true. Ryan and I had an unscripted conversation with fucking Kanye West, who had just started Google Plus.
Probably.
His name was Kanye West. He was I think he was certified because I don't think they had that process back then or whatever.
No, I don't.
But it wasn't just some fuck. It could not have been a stranger because seriously, how else am I ever going to talk to fucking Kanye West except for on a platform that is canceling in April? You know?
No, and to the point I wasn't making a point, but to the aside I was addressing earlier.
Right.
With that. I think that was actually the allure for that very, very small segment of a very, very niche community. They had the opportunity to be the first people into something.
Yeah.
And photographers are weird people in general. It's
relevant.
It's hard to simplify that because there's a lot of different kinds of photographers. But there is definitely a certain photography community that is very distinctly unique from other people you might meet in a regular world. They live in their own little circles.
Right.
And some of them they think they're famous because of their work, or they want to be famous because of their work.
Right.
And they're not. But they definitely live in a little vibe where, like, I am so-and-so. You haven't heard of me? Why haven't you heard of me? I'm so-and-so.
Sure.
And because they think they're ultra creative and to a point where, like, you must worship them. It's like, no. There are famous photographers. You're not one of them.
Sure.
But I think that platform actually was kind of a little bit of a... I want to go with masturbatory conduit because it was a new venue for people who were very egotistical and quote unquote creative to dominate a marketplace that no one else was filling.
Right.
I think that's what helped kind of feed the beast. It's like, well, we're here. No one else is here. It's just photographers now. So, look. We're here.
Right.
It was culturally, it was fascinating to watch. As a professional in that industry, it was like, why are you doing that? Oh, because you don't know how Instagram works. Okay, I get it.
Right.
Like, you know how other tech works. So you're doing this instead. Gotcha.
Well, and that's why I was that's why I was curious about it too. Like thinking of like, so because art is such a huge fucking brush, no pun intended or whatever.
No, that's a pretty solid pun.
Thank you. Well, I mean, actually was. Yeah, fine. But considering the fact that it's so multifaceted, and that the huge breadth, of people who could be considered artists, I actually would consider like photographers to be probably on the spectrum the least braggy, like and braggy, not show offish, because they obviously like they took pictures, they want to share it, but they're not like look at this, look at this, look at this. But like the social media aspect of it for people who are not photographers first. Yeah, please. Who are not photographers first. Thank you, Sam. Who are instead Instagrammers or YouTubers or Twitter people or whatever, like who know the social media side because they've been doing it their whole lives. Jumping on that and saying like being really super cocky about photography That sounds like a conflict of interest. Does that make sense?
Yes. No. And actually, there's. I'm not sure we want to unpack that. There's a lot to unpack.
Okay, sure. Okay.
Like there's like deep divides in that. Yeah. There's Pick an avenue.
Sure.
There are people who are creatives. Like there are a lot of photographers who hate with a passion, 1,000 burning suns filled with gonorrhea.
Ouch.
Instagram.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
everyone with the phone can be a photographer.
Yeah.
And so there's a certain level of this absolute like seething vitriol of like, no, you are not. You put a filter on a shitty photo.
Well, more than that, I think that photography is a really interesting place because it has accidental genius.
Yeah.
I don't want to say the word genius,
No,
but
no,
like,
I think that's apt. Actually.
you can stumble into a great photo. Like
I have several times.
But yeah, sure. But like that's the thing is like especially as phones get better and better. Like specifically, like I have the Pixel 3, and one time I was coming in, I smoked a cigarette, right, or whatever. I walked inside and it was kind of dark in the house because the sun was outside, and that's the way the lights work, and my eyes were whatever. And I looked down to the couch, and I was going to sit on the couch, and then my eyes kind of like zoomed, like got ready. Focused into both of our black cats that I did not see at all on the couch. I thought that was really cute, and I was like, so I was going to send a picture to my wife and say like, I walked in, I couldn't see them at all, and I took a picture of the black and black, and my phone was better than my fucking eyes. Like it actually got the cat. I had to go in and literally change the contrast and lighting and shadows to make it look as dark because the only reason I could see them was because they're dumb eyes. And so more to that. When cameras started coming out, that was like the first tech gadget that I was really getting into. Yeah. Like cameras with better megapixels and like better aperture and speed or whatever, ISO, that's the last word I know, but I only know as a buzzword. So, I had some nice cameras, but my mom, myself, my girlfriend at the time, and my sister, when she was really young, all went to Seattle. And we had this like really fun trip, and my mom had this super shitty little camera, and so I have my nice like it's not a mirrorless crazy like SLR whatever. It was just like a nice consumer camera, and I was taking pictures, and they're like okay, and like literally every single picture my mom took with her like 5 megapixel or 3 megapixel camera at the time, like disposable guy or whatever the fuck it was like lit. It was on the fucking fire. Drove me absolutely up a wall. Like I mean, good for her or whatever, but like. There's that difference of the middling amateur to the point where they're going from novice and amateur to actually kind of knowing what they're doing. In photography, it's not that they're fucking really anything up anymore. It's like there is like now it's equipment, but like it's like fighting games. If you allow me to use a gaming reference, fighting games are like one of the few like avenues of places where if you don't know what you're doing and you're willing to just fucking say fuck it, you could still beat really, really good players by just smashing buttons.
Honestly, I think that's actually a really apt analogy.
Thank you.
Especially in the context I mentioned earlier, like the level of hatred among some people who are quote unquote photographers. Sorry, and versus the Instagram people. Like, there are people who are out there going, I have this app and I take a thing, like, adjust a little thing. I think it looks pretty good.
Right.
And they're creating without knowing what they're doing.
Yeah.
They just like something.
And it's not even that they have an eye.
Yeah, they just say something, okay, that's cool. The real hatred comes from people who are like older, typically, who are upset with the idea that they spent years in school or spent tens and tens of thousands of dollars on cameras and lenses and studied and can recite you quote and verse about what settings need to happen or what certain types of lighting are called and how you do it technically, and like they get pissed off that some 21-year-old kid with an iPhone goes, oh, that looks kind of cool.
This food looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a whole separate argument.
Well, sure. But it started with one kid who like took a fucking excellent picture of his eggs one day, whatever, It was probably Will Wheaton.
That's actually a funny story. So I'm on the Instagrams. I don't really post a whole lot of stuff, but one of the most liked photos I have is an Instagram picture I took of some Cinnabons. I'm sorry. There are Pillsbury Grands, technically.
Fine.
But I just did the Grands, I put it on my table and looked pretty nice. The lighting was pretty good. I'm like, looks pretty cool. It's like my most liked picture is. I think I even captioned when shopping drunk goes right.
Sure.
But also as a photographer,
Good
I'm like,
narrative too.
as a photographer, I'm looking at it going, yeah, if you wanted to do that like in a studio, like that would be like a technically difficult setup. But the camera can kind of go, yeah, close enough. And that's what people care about. Is just,
yeah. And the phones get crazier,
Which is why Google Plus worked for them.
Yeah, yeah.
Segueing back in,
Right.
So
Yeah.
they gave this pocket of people who were just soap their own asses that they couldn't accept the fact that people can be creative without having to spend a lot of money on it.
Right.
Or could do something because they like to do it, not because they are. I'm a photographer, whatever. They spilled into that venue. I'm sorry, I'm going to go with. They spilled into that void because no one else was there, and so they were able to inhabit a space,
expand. Right.
They could feel. Go. This is where we live now because, fuck you. The reality was they didn't know how to use Instagram.
Yeah.
They didn't know what it meant to be socially engaged and to use the tool to help drive business to your whatever.
Right.
They filled that gap like, well, this is where we can go to talk about how awesome we are.
Right. Gold rush for their own insecurities,
their own ego, really. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So, long story short, I know. Long story long. Yeah. But,
No, I mean, we have to have a reason. I mean, like Google is not. It's not uncommon for Google to shut something down that's popular.
They do it all the time.
Or to shut stuff down. You know, like was it Google Pages or Google? Or there was that one thing that was like a collaboration tool that was like absolutely nuts. That like literally like only like my friends used or whatever. Like I can't remember what it's called, but it was. I mean, it was great for us, but you know, it's not a product. But they'll keep it running for a couple of years before they're like, all right, well, it's still not working. Like in Google Plus, like technically worked, you know, but
it was really poorly done.
But it's really fascinating that some people were able to glomp on like it was a gold rush somewhere. You know?
Yeah.
To rush in and say, well, I'm going to stake my claim right here because this is where like Kanye West, like being a part of it, you know.
Yeah, and that was
who's my best friend.
Yeah, and that was honestly only because I was in that industry that I even noticed that happened.
Yeah.
And it was even for me it was weird, like looking at, why are you in there? And then having to dissect in my brain as I kind of just dissertated just now why I think that happened.
Right.
But like being in that community, like why are you here? You're just wasting your time. Like it's not smart for your business. It's not smart for your branding. It's just you.
It's an empty space.
Finding a space
right.
that nobody else is going to.
The last person to come to Google Plus saying like, "Oh, look at all this extra space," that was the guy. Google was probably like, "Oh, fuck! It's been 5 years. Like, this should not be Yukon territory. This should be like Metropolis at this point, you know."
Yeah.
But so yeah, fine. Buy Google Plus. I mean, yeah, I did get the email. I did look at it and it said, "Oh yeah." And remembered Kanye West, and then didn't remember anything else. I mean, because like Drunkcast, the first version of our show, or the same name podcast,
I think we had a Google Plus.
We
account.
did have a Google Plus account, and there was some interaction there. But the thing is, too, like the funny thing about it actually harkens back to something I heard from Alton Brown recently. Strangely,
it's curious.
I've been watching a lot of Hot Ones.
Oh yes.
Great fucking series.
I still have.
I know you have some reasons about it. I mean, 1,000,000 Scovilles is still much more than 500 Scovilles, but 1,500,000 Scovilles is definitely hotter. So,
but for me, it's also the cumulative thing.
well, that's what I mean. 1,000,000 plus 500 is 1,500,000. You know. So, but Alton Brown was there, and they were talking about regionality, and how regionality is one of the most frustrating things that comes with food.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the worst place you can get a Philly cheesesteak is in fucking Philadelphia. Because when people think, oh, I got this, then they stop producing well, you know?
Well, that's curious.
And so I make that as a similarity. I make that as a connection to the idea of Google Plus, of saying, like, you know, people who are coming in and saying, well, there's nobody here, let's make content. That's the reason why I actually kind of enjoyed my Google Plus experience at the very beginning, because it was new and people were just like, well, let's make this thing let's plus one on their thing, or let's do this thing or whatever, you know. There was a lot of activity at some point, and then it just turned into Tumblr without porn.
Or new Tumblr.
Right, new Tumblr, which is honestly the fucking dumbest thing you can ever fucking do. Because it reminds me, there was a Scrubs episode with fucking, Scrubs, Dr. Cox or whatever. Dr. Cox, I think, I probably even find the quote, but he said something like, if they got rid of porn on the internet, there'd be one website, and it would say, bring back the porn. And
Yes.
Tumblr was fucking like a big fucking well of really weird stuff. And they said, well, our advertisers don't like it, but
Yeah.
let's take another break. We'll come back with more podcasts. Would you do that again?
I didn't wrestle.
Welcome back to the show, everybody.
Yeah.
Hey, you come talk? Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is segment 3 of Content Pending the Show with Travis and Dylan. We got a special guest. You don't want to talk?
No, I'll talk. I just have to go to work here in a minute.
Okay, yeah, fine. You have, how many minutes?
Like that many.
A cigarette worth?
A
Okay.
cigarette worth.
All right.
Am I on?
Yeah, you are.
All right.
You can't hear yourself.
That's right.
Totally fine. What's up, Todd?
Nothing. What's going on with y'all?
We're just chilling. We're coming back to the podcast for some time. Todd is one of, it was a different product that we had. Hopefully we'll continue to do it. And it's the Foreign Correspondents.
We will continue to do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hope so.
Our traveling buddy. If you know anything about that, or if you've heard anything about that, go and try to find it, and I'll even add some because you're here for at least 30 seconds. It counts as a fucking shout out.
Yeah. Glad to be back.
Yeah, glad to be back. Cheers to that.
Devin, how are you, man?
No, I'm all
I
right.
haven't seen you in a while. How you been?
It's been a hot minute.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
We all
what's
went
the-
our separate ways,
Yeah. What's the topic
Just
for
like
today?
Journey. Yeah.
just like Journey. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Topic tonight, really just like coming
Sorry,
back,
guys.
talking about this new piece of equipment that we've already basically jerked all the way over, and
It's a lot less cumbersome.
isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah. Isn't that nice? It's like an IKEA version of what we had before.
Yeah.
you know,
You got extra parts?
equipment. Yeah, extra parts, extra room. We can arm wrestle now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mud wrestle.
Mud wrestle on this
Yeah.
table.
We did that for my 25th birthday.
That does not
We
surprise
called
me
it
at
the
all.
mud, the bud, and the beer.
Yeah, that sounds about like a
And it
time
was-
fit moment. Yeah.
And it was fucking awesome, man.
Wait, like in someone's backyard, or you
And
actually?
in Josh's backyard back
Okay.
in the day.
Oh,
yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Back in the young, fit, and strong days, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had our landlady. We
What
called
a
her-
reference.
Our landlady we called land bitch, and she came over at about 3:30 in the morning because the DJs were playing really loud and there was just booze everywhere. She was pissed. It was beautiful.
Well, that's fucking great.
Yeah, man.
Was it like kiddie pool, or did you actually go bigger on the kiddie pool?
It was a kiddie pool.
Kiddie pool. Okay. So you went full traditional. You didn't do like anything like.
Nah.
I was curious, like.
But my girlfriend did. We didn't have enough mud, so I sent her to Home Depot to get more mud, and she got mulch. So that's that's why we call it the mud, the blood, and the beer.
Okay.
Because there was some blood.
The mud, the blood, and the buds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Mud, the blood, and buds, and buds.
a terrific little time in my life.
That's kind of Letter Kenny-ish right there.
Right. Yeah. I've been watching a lot of that, so. Yeah. Would you do that again?
I didn't wrestle.
Oh, you didn't. Oh, it was.
Oh,
it
no,
was
we
for-
had women in bikinis wrestle.
Okay, so full traditional.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
Back in my Austin heyday.
did you pay them spec, or was it like a daily amount, or
Do what?
They get paid in mulch.
they get paid?
They got
mulch?
all the mulch they could wrestle in. They got free beer. They were drunk.
I got that mulch money, bitch. What?
Right.
Caught one of them, one of the wrestlers doing cocaine on the
On the anything, really.
no on the toilet seat.
On the seats.
Like on the cover, the toilet seat cover.
Okay, with the clothes.
Yeah,
Okay,
so I
okay.
opened the door to use the restroom, and there it was.
Back in the pit for you, woman.
Get back. Now
Ready
you
for round 2.
now you're ready.
Yeah, intermission over. Well, yeah.
Well, that's all I got. I gotta go, guys.
All right, good
Time to
see
go to
you.
work.
Top fit, everybody.
Have a good night. It's good to be back.
That's one of the best drop-ins yet.
I had an applause button, I think, at some point, but yeah.
Thanks for having me.
What's wrong? What'd you lose?
There might be a cherry somewhere.
Oh, it's fine. This is business carpet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll find it.
We'll find a way.
Set him down.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Miss Todd.
Go
It's,
Todd.
Todd and his buddy Neil go out and went on a couple of international adventures and
They did.
recorded some stuff for us. They'd call in.
Mm-hmm.
They would call in through Facebook, but you could also call 802-359-7468. It's 802-359-SHOT. Yeah, I went to South America and Cuba. Well, I mean, I actually have some recordings from his trip from Cuba because I gave him a little recorder, just like a really simple,
really?
nice. And he didn't really do anything. Well, he did some stuff with it, but mostly it was like what he did for the day. It was like so it was like audio diary, which is fine. But there was so much of it, and it just wound up being like Anthony Bourdain on the couch instead of like actually at places, you know. So eventually we'll figure that part out and get him out there and do some cool stuff, whatever.
Yeah, if nothing else, he gave us Donkey John.
Oh hell yeah, yeah.
And what was the girl's name?
Kiva.
Kiva, that's right. I always forget it because I remember seeing how it was spelled.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's nothing like how it sounds.
Yeah, it's Gaelic, so it's like COIEEFEE something
Yes.
like.
GH.
Well, it has to be a full moon for it to look like
Yes,
Kiva.
yeah.
You know, it's fucking what a wonderful language. It's so pure. Yeah. Speaking of wonderful language, do you want to talk about Trump? You want to talk about Trump's fucking
Well, he has the best words.
the best words? Actually, so this is like politics. If you want to skip ahead for politics, like I think just skip like 10 minutes or something to the last segment where we'll talk about movies. Because we do have to talk about the fucking Aladdin trailer. But I brought up the word Trump, so we're going to talk about Trump. Someone gave a play-by-play. I was like looking at fact-checking, whatever, but I was looking at this like this, not play-by-play, but like a summary of what he was talking about. And did he say that Japan gave him a Nobel Prize? That was reported by someone that he said that Japan was going to or is going to give him a Nobel Prize, a peace prize, for his North Korean efforts.
I did not see that.
Okay.
I don't doubt that may have been said.
Right.
But I don't recall seeing that. But I will say that was this like during his national emergency declaration?
Yeah. So if you missed it,
I didn't watch his entire little speech. I only got the because he did like at 9 a.m. So
I didn't watch it at all. And like from the Rose Garden, right?
Yeah. But I know he went on many rampages.
So for people who don't actually know, like, some of this you have to know.
I don't doubt. I don't doubt he said that.
Trump was on his stumps, when he was trying to be president, became president. He's been talking about building a wall specifically, and it's funny too. I'm listening to NPR and I'm listening to like these really like professional people who are trying to keep their shit together, and they're talking to Trump associates, and they'll bring up the wall and they'll even say it in like the kind of CNN snarky way of like a wall that, if you remember, he said Mexico was going to pay for. Mm-hmm. Or for which, excuse me, because it's NPR. They're better than I am. Typical liberal.
Which wins over the Republicans.
Oh, yeah, every time.
When you correct him with grammar.
Yeah. But so, they bring that up. That was his original stump, and he was going to do that. He had two big things, infrastructure and the wall. The wall that Mexico was going to pay for.
Yeah.
The wall that was going to separate Mexico and Texas, Mexico and the United States, so basically just Texas and California, to keep us from...
he wanted a full 2,000-mile long,
Yeah.
20-foot high. At one point, the wall has got 10 feet higher because of what you said right now. But really, it was a 20 to 30-foot wall from, in his words, she to shining she.
Yes. Didn't he say it was going to cost like $3 billion? And people were saying it's going to cost 10. And there's been countless environmental studies about this, and people who are professionals. Trump has opened up the floodgates of people not trusting professionals even harder than we've ever had it. Yeah. The anti-vax movement is a startling version of that. Yes. Oh no, and it's disgusting.
We got to hold on that one.
But so anyway, so Trump's thing. Trump waited, I guess, for the first 2 years of his of his presidency to now say that it's a national emergency. Made a national emergency. That he's going to divert. And so if people don't know what a national emergency, it basically means that he can divert funds or assets from the military in order to fix a thing. In the past, since Nixon added this to our Constitution or was amended or whatever, since Nixon, it's happened 50 other times.
51.
51 total.
And I think they're like 30 and 30 and change. They're still currently
That are still
active.
current, yes. Yeah. And they're all about things like there is a specific group of people who have assets we want to freeze in order to stop them from doing a thing.
Yes.
It's like literally military actions. Sending the military out or using funds to do a thing that would be enforcement of some kind of law.
Yes.
And then Trump.
Yes.
And that's been the most frustrating thing for people is that that's what he's doing this for. I mean, you can ignore or not ignore the fact that he said, "Oh, national emergency," and then he went fucking golfing.
Oh no! Well, in his announcement, he even says, "I don't have to do this."
Yeah, he said the wall is going to be a thing anyway, but I don't have to actually make it a national emergency, which is
I just want to do it faster.
which and like you and I have talked about this probably too many times, and I've talked about this just in general too many times probably. But the most frustrating thing about that entire fucking thing is that he's going to get away with that. He's going to get away with literally saying out loud to a human being, any human being, "Oh, I didn't have to make it a national emergency."
In this case, he might not. No, actually, let me rephrase. He will, but less than before.
Less than before, for sure. But
the sad thing is, some part of this he still will get away with.
Yeah, he'll still get a pension.
Yeah.
He'll still retire as president.
Yeah.
He'll still have a security force for the rest of his fucking life that we're going to pay for.
There actually, there is some talk that him even saying that declaring a national emergency and then also saying it's not because I don't really have to, might be in itself an actual impeachable offense by the Constitution.
Wow.
For two reasons. One, because he's declaring a thing that's not really a thing.
Right.
And it, therefore is not, what's the executing the office of the best of abilities. Whatever the wording is in the swearing in. Then secondly, the actual reappropriation of funds is like the Constitution. It's a constitutional thing. Like only Congress can decide where money goes.
Right.
Like that's like, and for even the Republicans who are whatever sucking Trump nut, even they're kind of at the point going,
"Eesh." Yeah.
But
at best, they're pulling their collars.
The Constitution says he can't do this.
Yes.
And what I found was funny was Pelosi even saying like, yeah, like maybe when Democrats in office, they'll declare a national emergency that
to tear down.
Guns are bad.
Right.
And that's been glossed over, I think, too much. Her point has been kind of twisted a little bit. Again, she's saying we're going to do this. Like, no. She's saying the exact opposite. She's saying is
she's being she's being too intelligent.
Yeah, like the point there is a very distinct line that was written by the founding fathers that no one discounts. Like, no matter what side you are, what affiliation you are, Congress has the power of the purse. That was decided, like it's like in a rule like 3 or something in our Constitution.
Right.
It's like these are the rules of our entire nation, and one of them is presidents can't decide where money goes.
Right.
Because that's what kings do, and we don't want kings.
Yeah.
Like it's the founding of our entire government, and so even people who are crazy and far right winger, they're even kind of going, "Oh shit, this one's a little hard."
Yeah.
But now, to your point, he's still going to get away with way too much of this.
Way too much of it, yeah.
The reality is, there's a couple different tracks. One, impeachment is never going to happen. It's too difficult politically.
At the very least, we don't have enough time for it anymore.
That's true too. Secondly, there are several tranches of how this is bad politically, and things that could happen. There's the whole talk of the resolution, like the public denunciation that Congress can put forth saying, "No, you're making a bad choice, Mr. President."
Right.
Which will force Republicans to vote on that.
Yeah, which will go to his office to veto.
And
then 2/3.
But regardless, it's forcing the Republican Party to go, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then there's also legal, there's like 14 or 15 legal claims that are very solid that are already going to be, nothing about this is smart in any way, shape, or form.
No.
The problem is, and I'm going to come back to your point, like, he's going to go with too much. In the normal world of 2.5 years ago, this never would have happened.
Yeah.
Obama would have been impeached on the last. If Obama even thought about this 3 months before the end of his term, he would have been impeached before the end of his term.
Right.
Because it's insanity.
Yeah, because it's a goofy fucking concept. But it actually, it's, I guess it's so in his wheelhouse that people think he's a cool bully, and that's it's always been his, that's the red hat in the first place. It's a cool bully.
Yeah.
Someone compared the idea of the red hat specifically to African Americans in hoodies. the concept's solid, but it's also like there's a lot to unpack.
One group gets shot more than the other.
Right. But it's still about like we're looking at any kind of bias and we're saying that your bias is the same. Not the exact same, but it's still like the whole Covington thing that I'd like to too much research on. To say like that those kids, like to try to find what those kids actually did wrong in the past because of their school or whatever is like, fuck it, fuck you. And like just, I don't like those kids any more than I like fucking strangers in general who suck. They don't actually have to be attached to Donald Trump for me to fucking
No, they're
hate.
just shitty kids.
They're just shitty kids.
Yeah.
Like, just get over it. But we're so wrapped up in that. It's just so much easier to say like, okay, I get everyone sucks. Just fine, fuck it. Donald Trump's gonna get away with it because, like, Don Jr. tweeted this thing like yesterday, I guess. He tweeted this thing. It was like, it was essentially, when Obama did this, no one bat an eye.
Yeah.
Like, but Obama didn't do that. No, he said when Obama passed the healthcare, when he passed Obamacare through national emergency, no one cared. And like, it's just essentially just this huge group of people on Twitter, which it has to be like I feel like the Trump family can only come if they're like getting attacked on Twitter. Like I don't understand how they can live in a place without just like being...
Imagine if they had gone to Google Plus instead.
Yeah. Kanye West would have been there and he'd agreed with him in the first place. And we're like, oh man, the internet loves us. But he said, yeah, that. And he was like, well, no, you remember that Obamacare was actually voted on.
Mm-hmm.
The version it was voted on was sneaky, yes. It was as a tax to pay for it. But also, it was never a national emergency. The things that Obama did for national emergency were, again, using military force to try to
Flood relief.
freeze assets, flood relief.
The one that got kicked back was he wanted to protect the parents of dreamers, I guess.
They got kicked back.
Yeah, and that actually got to court and was
And that's part of the fucking process.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and take another break. We'll come back and talk about something a little bit more fun, like Will Smith and Aladdin.
Yeah.
We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the show, everybody.
Yeah.
Segment 4, final segment, toast segment. Also, why are we still worrying about an hour? So many people just record for a fucking ever. They get stuff they want. They like stuff that they want. Like, I don't have to worry. Let's not do a 2-hour episode, but also, like, fuck it. Let's just talk. So the internet, there was the two crazy things that happened this week. Trump saying national emergency about a thing that's not national emergency. Like, Flint, Michigan, for example, if they had any kind of national emergency where
they actually do have a national emergency.
Right.
Yeah.
Why isn't that a thing? Whatever. Who cares? It's only been like 6 years. But yeah, so that was that. And then Disney actually dropped 2 trailers. I love the timing of these trailers too. I'll start with the second one.
God.
Frozen 2.
I didn't see that one.
So that one looks kind of cute.
Yeah.
The quality of animation looks fucking incredible.
Frozen.
I'm not really big into Frozen. I actually thought, like, the first time I watched it, I really enjoyed it, but the second time I watched it, it was like...
I've never even watched it, but I know it's all right.
Watch it, I'd say. It's part of the Disney catalog if you like Disney movies.
Yeah.
It did change a lot of things when it comes to... there's definitely a lot of people shipping some LGBT stuff in there, but it new versions of some old tropes and things. It's worth checking out. But on subsequent viewings, I wouldn't say it's actually that great. But whatever. So Frozen 2 comes out. People are losing their minds because they love fucking Frozen 1, because fucking Frozen 1, sure, whatever. But what's notable about it is that it's beautiful, but there's, like, not really any dialogue or really plot points. Like, it opens up on...
Just song?
Well, Elsa is trying to run from a beach into the ocean because she can control ice. She can make ice from her hands, whatever, fine, magic. And she's like trying to run, and she's trying to basically get maybe off an island. You don't even really know the actual scope or the sense or the narrative of actually what's going on. It's just these scenes. All these scenes are kind of put together, and of course people are losing their minds, but it's just like not really a trailer. It's not even a teaser. It's just some scenes together. And I think Disney did that because they're trying to help people remember that they do know what they're talking about after the day before the Aladdin trailer came out. Because Frozen 2 is a big fucking IP, and it looks far better than the Aladdin trailer that came out the day before. So, and that was the first one. That was the one that most of the internet just kind of like scratched their heads over. Last time I saw it was like 4-1 dislike to like on YouTube, which isn't like super crazy because it was like 67,000 people to like, 20 or whatever, or 10 or whatever it was. But God, it was so fucking weird. You saw the trailer, right?
I'm gonna. There's a quote that I can't get right, but Sam B made a wonderful, uncanny valley comment with regards to how it went down. And when she said, like, yes, that explains everything perfectly in that one sentence. I wish I could remember it right now.
Sure.
But yeah, it's just weird and bad and.
Well, they're trying to go photorealistic with a magical genie.
Yeah.
And then they didn't really do much to his face to make him look like anything else except for Will Smith superimposed on
a weird.
On a non-glowing blue
Yeah,
thing.
it's just weird.
It is fucking really weird. In Uncanny Valley for sure, but also like, I mean, if you listen to the show long enough, especially after we had the new theme song, we'll make this joke. We'll say, "Hoo ha ha," because really it's Electro Lemon on Twitter, our friend Demi, who did this fucking super great Will Smith raps the theme song to Aladdin.
Yeah, when I
totally
saw
faked.
When I saw the trailer, I could only think of that version going, holy shit, he got it right the first time.
Yeah.
And he was making a really bad joke.
And it starts off as like a parrot flying, and there's all this shit going on. If you haven't seen the trailer, go find the trailer. I'll probably put in the links. Go find the trailer, whatever. And there's like stuff going on. It's like Agrabah, whatever the stuff, and then like you see Jasmine, you see Prince Aladdin, you see Aladdin. But the two notable introductions are eventually you see the genie, and like literally he's rubbing the lamp. Aladdin's rubbing the lamp, and the genie comes out in the smoke, and the first thing you hear is Will Smith say, "Woo!" Like, why? Why can you not? Can you try to be another character of any kind? Anything. This is not the nostalgia of Robin Williams talking. This is like literally, like, it's why.
Maybe it's a really, really deep cut homage to the Demi version.
Right? Maybe they just really appreciated that so fucking much. But I don't know.
One can hope.
One can hope. It has to, but it's Disney. Disney can't do anything wrong except for, like, they do a lot of stupid shit.
Yeah, Star Wars.
Yeah. And they're just they do that because they want the money more than they want. I mean, like, essentially what's happening is that they've found out that they can make more money actually producing something that people have heartstrings attached to.
Mm-hmm. They found that out a long time ago.
in movies instead of straight to CD or DVD. Like, instead of just making like they can make super trash. They can make like, Pups and Trash Cans Part 3 and then put that out to Blu-ray or whatever the fucking like Blu-ray digital is, or go straight to their Disney universe, whatever. Like, their straight to DVD releases can be the biggest trash. Mm-hmm. But they know that they can take Beauty and the Beast and say live action and then throw a face up and then everyone's going to fucking lose their minds over it.
Starring Hermione.
So, yeah. So, I mean, fucking, of course. She's gorgeous. But, I mean, I found out, I didn't see that, but I did hear that they added extra songs to it. It's like, well, that's the thing I don't get. It goes back to the fucking Ninja Turtles thing with Michael Bay. It goes back to that thing because the argument I hear is, well, yeah, it's a cash grab. It's like, well, if it's a cash grab, why are they putting so much effort into it?
That's a good point.
Like, give them snouts. Give the fucking turtles. I'll never stop talking about that part specifically because you don't have to change that. Why are you changing? Just take a thing that already exists and make it the same thing. So, like, for Beauty and the Beast, them adding extra songs, and Banjo, like I mentioned before, big Disney fan, whatever. His kiddo is like, he's indoctrinating her into Disney. Like, she didn't get anything extra out of that, but he could tell that the music was definitely not written by the same fucking people. Mm-hmm. And you could tell that unless you're not paying attention, which is 95%. So they just make all this extra money on this weird, trashy, like, overblown thing. And Aladdin is exactly like that. And then throw Will Smith at it and say, like, well, whatever. It's going to make $1 billion no matter what, until it doesn't, and then it crumbles, and then my Marvel universe is in trouble, Dylan.
They'll buy that, yeah.
Well, I mean, they have that. Disney has that, so
Yeah,
it's like everything is Disney.
It's all Disney now, yeah.
But whatever. So it comes down to that point. But the thing that was actually more worrisome about the trailer is the guy playing Jafar. Like, so I don't have it pulled up to actually play it so you listen to it or whatever, but like the guy who plays Jafar just sounds like I said it to a friend, it sounds like he's going through a messy divorce and he just doesn't have the heart in him to be evil anymore. He's telling Aladdin to go into the Cave of Wonders or whatever it is to get the treasures or whatever. And I think the quote is, "This is when your life begins," which doesn't really make any fucking sense. Like, your journey starts now is different than this is where your life begins. Mm-hmm. Fine, it's weak. But the way he says, he's like, "This is where your life begins." Like, it sounds like a fucking, like they took a middle school teacher who always wanted to be in a musical and stuck him in a role that he does not deserve specifically because they owed him favors. I don't know. So everyone's looking at Will Smith, and I think that's almost on purpose because they're like, because Jafar is a really great fucking villain.
In the movie,
in the cartoon,
in the first one,
he was a great fucking villain, and you don't lose. It's like if they like the Maleficent movie that came out with Angelina Jolie.
I actually enjoyed that.
I did not, but I appreciate that they did a spin on it, like the whole idea of like Wicked and like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. Like, I love the idea of taking the story and like actually expanding it. But it's like if for Maleficent, if they're like, oh, we really want to do this, and they decided to get like Lady Gaga to do it, you know? Well, I mean, actually, she's a competent actress. I'm trying to think of someone who's like just really super milquetoast. Like, you don't take a character that big because Maleficent is like, like a super big super villain.
Jennifer Aniston.
Yes, yeah, or just fucking anybody like Kristen Wiig.
Ugh.
You know, like. It doesn't make any sense because you don't have the power of the beauty and the sphere and stress of like looking at a thing and saying, oh, I do empathize with you a little bit. Like, that's more important than just like the goofy Paul Feig version of something like that, you know? And this Aladdin thing looks like that. It's like, why are you doing this to Jafar?
Paul Feig's Aladdin.
Right. With no script.
Yeah. I just love when the actors just the ad-lib for hours and hours and hours. It's great.
Which, ironically, worked perfectly for fucking Robin Williams.
Well, because it was Robin Williams.
Because it was fucking Robin Williams. He never can stop thinking, and he's like, oh, I have the perfect thing for this. I just thought of 1 millisecond ago. It's literally related to everything. And I told you about that. It was like the fucking first comedy album I ever listened to was his Life, What a Concept. It's like Live from a Paramount was the video version or whatever. And, dude, like, instead of just getting improv ideas from the crowd, he would literally ask them, for a series of things like places, characters, and then he made a Shakespearean play out of it. Like, improv'd a Shakespearean play. Like, fuck you. Like, and again, nostalgia aside, like, Will Smith can't do that. But that's fine. Different universe. Yeah. But also,
well, he can rap about the Wild Wild West.
Right. Fucking awful. Awful.
Wiki wild. That's how wild it is.
It's so wild it has 2 different Wikipedia pages for it. Just to research how wild it actually is. Hate it. And Banjo brought up the idea too, is like, you know, what's mostly frustrating about the Aladdin trailer. And I'm glad I'm talking about this more than I'm talking about Trump wasting our military funds to not help Flint, Michigan, or any of the bridges that are about to fall apart as I finish this sentence. I'm glad I'm talking about Aladdin a little bit more. But he brought up the point, it actually harkens back to the Ghostbusters thing, this in Paul Feig, that people are just going to glomp onto the idea. It's like, well, no, you just wanted Robin Williams, or even worse, you don't like black people. The reason why you don't like the movie is because you don't like Will Smith because he's a black man. And that sucks because, again, why can't it just be bad? It could just be a bad movie, and it looks like it could be a bad movie. But, like, to have that little shield of saying, like, no, Ghostbusters wasn't a bad movie. You just hate women. You just don't think they're funny.
It's like, no, it was a bad movie.
It was literally a bad movie. And if you haven't done this, if you're listening to this and you haven't done this, go find fucking Red Letter Media's
Mr.
Plinkett review of Ghostbusters, the 2016 Ghostbusters. Only because there's certain scenes where I want you to see where he's edited the movie. Because he edits the movie to take out all the extra fucking dumb speaking. Because there's just so much conversation going on that no moments land. They just don't have time to fucking breathe. and he takes some of those out and he edits it so it just does a thing where he takes out like 90% of the jokes, and fuck, those scenes are so much fucking better. And then compares that to the original
actual
Ghostbusters,
version.
where it's like yeah, it's a goofy, funny, sarcastic movie with some great characters and etc. But when they first walk up to the top of the fucking building and they see that portal to wherever, it's like silent with some spooky, like it's just everyone there is trying to figure out what the fuck's happening along with you, the audience. But you never have the time for it. And it goes, yeah, I'm sorry. I brought up Ghostbusters and I'm just getting pissed.
No, it's good. It's good reason to get pissed. Right?
But it's not. But it's not because. It's not because of the cast, or it is. It's not because of the cast gender. It's not because of their race. It's just trash.
Yeah.
It's just
Endless
trash.
trash.
Endless trash. Fuck you. It's forever.
Yeah.
Sorry for going on
No,
that
it's
rant
all right.
about Aladdin, but Jesus. Yeah, because that was leading up to it. Like you literally, if you could just take, and I think maybe Robin Williams will specifically states against this, but if you can just take the original fucking movie and just put live action people in it, and then just do a cartoon genie or a photorealistic genie like you can do in any fucking video game now, and just use literally the same dialogue. Why are you working so hard to make the movie worse when you can be even more boring and make people fucking happy? Do the exact same thing.
That is a wonderful point. We've touched on that in a couple different contexts as far as like how we approach like comic book movies. Like comic books are storyboards. They are movies.
They have to be.
They've already been done. You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
You don't have to do it.
And when it comes to like remakes, it's even worse.
Yeah.
Which actually I think is why what was the J.J. Abrams Star Wars, whatever that one was?
Wait.
Force Awakens.
Force Awakens, yeah.
It's basically a remake of New Hope.
Yeah, and it was fun.
Yeah, it didn't try to it added new flavors.
Yeah, of course, yeah. New characters, little side splits of characters or whatever.
But didn't reinvent the wheel. It just kind of took what it had and kind of went with it. It updated a few things for technology. And I'm okay with the gender. Actually, I really liked Ray in that one. I really liked it.
Yeah. Mary suicide or whatever, but like they're
Let me put a pin in that. I liked her in the first half of the movie.
Oh, fine.
Yeah,
Sure.
because the second half of the movie was just okay. Now you have lightsaber powers all of a sudden. Like, that was a bit too much. I don't hate it the way that most of the people on the internet do, but I agree with their assessment of like the beginning, especially because the first half of the movie is so strong. Like we see her as a person who's just like, I mean, how many actors or actresses or whatever can spend 15 minutes of a movie not talking and convey a story?
Yes.
That was a good choice. It
Yes.
was a great choice.
Yes.
It was well executed, good actor. So that's why I don't have any problem with that.
Yeah.
And again, going back kind of the point, you saw a lot of that in the first Star Wars. There's like scenes of Luke Skywalker staring into the sky because you can tell his internal monologue is, I don't want to be here. I want to go on an adventure.
Yeah.
You don't need the constant exposition of, I'm going to go on an adventure. Let's go do some stuff and stuff.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah,
Look at me.
which happens
Left
all
foot,
the
right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, right.
Which was Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And what I'm sure Aladdin will be. So wrapping that end back together is you don't have to reinvent everything about it to remake it. You can take a cartoon and make it a live action. I would agree with you on that. Like,
Yeah.
the genie should still be a cartoon genie.
Yeah. No, it has to be a fictional thing.
Yeah.
You know?
In fact, I think that just makes the story even more strong. Like, making it so obviously Will Smith was a really bad choice.
Yeah.
And
Because no one would care.
yeah.
If they literally even used the exact same genie from the first movie, from the cartoon, and just had literally just the cartoon, not even 3D cartoon genie.
Yeah.
Like,
Actually, that'd be great.
no one would care.
Well, no,
like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit situation. Just like shade it so it looks kind of not photorealistic.
I'm going to push back a little bit because they did give the genie a few Robin Williams characteristics.
Sure.
But it wasn't his face superimposed on a floaty blue body.
Right.
And I would have taken that route instead. I would
Yeah.
Will Smith do it fine, but make Will Smith do the words we already know, all the songs, the beats. We know that.
Yeah.
Like, they worked.
We just want to see it again.
Yeah, it was a movie that made like $100 billion in 1992. it was a cartoon. Like
Yeah.
it worked.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
reinvent it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they're doing the Lion King also, aren't they?
It was already done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin.
Was
Yeah.
Lion King? Really?
Yeah.
Man, I really missed that one. Or did I?
Dum bum.
It came in handy.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. It's right fucking there.
Yeah.
Just do it. Just do whatever you want. Just do it. Get on with it.
Especially the concept of a genie. It's a phantasmal, mystical beast that comes in out of a bottle. It doesn't have to look like anything.
Yeah.
Especially a blue Will Smith. I'm sorry, a blue Will Smith's face
Yeah.
on a
Yeah.
weird body.
Right. See, because like I honestly like fucking so it'd be so fucking badass like because the people who were really like excited about the Aladdin thing, there's like two major groups that are excited about fucking Aladdin. Same groups that are excited about Incredibles 2, really. People who watch the original and people who want to share that with their kids. And what better way could you respect the original, but also remember that the kids who watched it originally also saw Who Framed Roger Rabbit, or tried to watch that Hollywood movie, the porn version of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, basically the softcore porn version. Remember that?
Oh, I do.
Brad Pitt and
no, that was Cool World. Yeah.
Cool World. Yeah, thank you. Cool World. Yeah. Gross.
That's a pretty good movie.
That harkens back to a fucking nostalgia. Oh, there was another one with a Monkey Bone. It was with Brendan Fraser.
Well, you said probably thinking Fritz the Cat. That was
No
live action.
No. But having the live action thing with that,
Wait, Monkey Bone, yeah.
Yeah, Monkey. That would make so many adults and so many kids happy because it shouldn't happen. And also, like, it would just be him, and so all the adults would be like, I remember this. Not I don't remember this guy. I don't know who these people are. This Jafar sounds like he just.
That would have been great.
Jafar sounds like he's constipated. You know,
really doing it like that, doing it Roger Rabbit style or Cool World style, Monkey, but really having an actual like completely animated character.
Yeah, completely 100% like cartoon.
Yeah, cartoon.
Fucking cartoons popping around with all of and just using Robin Williams' voice. Done.
I would have loved that.
Yeah. But still, no one listens to us. So 802-359-7468.
And we're gonna get a new song out of it.
Oh yeah, see,
a new genie rap.
I don't. Oh god, I don't want that.
You know what's gonna happen.
I know.
You know what's gonna happen.
I know. He could definitely rap better than Robin Williams, though.
That's true.
If anyone's seen Fern Gully,
true.
That was weird. But he probably came up with it on the fucking spot. Whatever.
Probably also true. Did you ever see that documentary about him? Come Inside My Mind.
I did not.
It's wonderful. It's
Is it actual documentary? Because
Yeah.
there was
It was an HBO documentary. Came out a couple months ago.
a TV documentary, like a docu-series, not docu-series. What do they call it? Like a biopic-ish thing.
Oh no, not that.
You remember that though, right?
Yeah.
It was like within the last 10 years or so. The guy who played Robert Williams was actually really fascinating. I had no idea of his relationship with fucking any of those people, or like being there when Belushi fucking died. Like that's fucking crazy. But I didn't know there was like an actual like let's look at his career thing. It's great.
Come Inside My Mind.
Cool.
It's HBO. It's on there now. Came out a couple months ago. It will make you laugh and cry for 2 hours.
Oh, that's great.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot of footage of him just when he was at his most raw.
Yeah.
And not so much in terms of younger or older, but like just a lot of raw clips they captured. Like they did a great job of just doing the research on it.
Yeah.
Like you watch it, you start crying because like Rob Williams has this whole stigma in my mind, but as someone who used to be funny one time,
Sure.
because he made a lot of cash grab choices in his later years, and went the same well for his jokes a lot. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
But when you take the time to actually go back, like realize just how, first of all, innovative all that was. Like he did those cash grabs. He did those same jokes because they made him bazillions of dollars because he was the first person to ever do it.
Oh yeah, sure.
And he was brilliant at every moment of it.
And I would say like not unlike a carpenter would use a jig, you know?
Yeah.
Or like impressionists often will have like if you're trying to do Obama, you know, like you have that. Well, like that's
Yeah.
your lead in. Like, of course, he's going to repeat some stuff because he has to keep it all in his fucking brain.
Yeah, he had his bag of tricks.
While his brain was failing.
And actually, that's part of it too. Like you kind of look at the context of innovation, then maybe some stagnation.
Yeah.
But also, how it ended, and you can kind of put the pieces together, kind of going backwards. Like, yo, shit, he was having some real problems. That's maybe why he was always kind of going the same shit.
Yeah.
Because it made him remember that he was happy once.
Yeah.
It's that's why you start crying about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. And then the second movie I watched recently just came out. It's the reason I bring it up is twofold, because these two movies have the exact same thing in common. They both have footage of their main focus of the documentary interacting with Coco the gorilla.
Okay.
Robin Williams and Coco have a scene in that one, and then the one that just came out like last week was the Mr. Rogers documentary.
Oh yeah.
And also makes you kind of laugh and cry the whole time too.
I read that PBS was going to air it.
It's on HBO.
Well, no, PBS was
they're
also
gonna
going to air it, which is
it's fantastic.
yeah. I mean, the trailer made me cry. Like I remember watching it. I think like, before fucking Avengers, the first one, whatever. Like some movie. Well, I don't remember which one, but like seeing the trailer and just like fucking like getting weepy.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I did cry a lot actually. Partly because of nostalgia.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But also there was some some things I didn't. So you and I are from that era where like Mr. Rogers was a part of my childhood.
Yeah.
Just before internet, before even really Saturday morning cartoons, that came out more like 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
And I was raised, and even when I was younger, made fun of Mr. Rogers because I thought it was just too young for me.
Right.
Not realizing how much it had formed my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then watching it, there's like they have some clips in there that I don't think I'd even ever seen, or if I had seen, had not realized what they were.
Yeah, the actual perspective of it.
And it was like he was talking about Vietnam, like the first week the show opened.
Yeah.
And explaining how death works.
Yeah.
And how your dad might not come home this week.
Yeah.
And it's okay to feel bad.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit.
Yeah. One warrior against toxic masculinity. It was
Yeah.
fucking Fred fucking Rogers.
And it's some of the topics that he tackled were just insane. And I mean that in a great way. And they show a lot of clips that kind of remind you, like, holy crap, this is a dude who genuinely cared about how kids feel.
Yeah.
And that's just a bizarre concept.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially in entertainment.
Yeah. And he was forward thinking like Star Trek was
Very,
forward
very
thinking,
forward-thinking,
specifically having not only a reoccurring character, an African American as a reoccurring character, but there's a scene where they're like both like in an outdoor like hot tub or something.
Yeah, the kiddie pool.
Yeah, they're in a kiddie pool, and like they wash each other's feet.
Yes.
Which
that was
is
like in 68 or 69.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fucking crazy to think about. Like, and he was there because he knew kindness was more important. Motherfuckers went to fucking Congress to fight for PBS funding.
Yeah, they actually show some of that hearing, like the guy who was like, "You should cut this off," and Rogers kind of went on a rant, and you see him tearing up, like, "I believe that this medium has important value for kids."
Yeah, yeah. Fucking,
I'm feeling up thinking about it.
yeah. What a
But
fucking
no,
sweet person.
It caught me off guard that just how good-hearted
Yeah.
that he was, and also how intelligent he was with regards to understanding the medium of television at the kind of the birth of the modern age of TV.
Right.
And it says this medium has an impact on the way kids form relationships
Right.
with each other, with adults, and it's important to not just show, westerns and people blowing up shit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Machismo shit.
and it's okay to like say, yeah, mommy's not coming home today, and let's talk about that. It's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see that.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
I can't recommend it high enough. You got to watch it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's.
Tom Hanks is also doing a biopic thing too.
Oh, is he really? Oh.
Yeah, like, he's going to play Fred Rogers, I
Oh.
guess. Yeah.
Well, Oscar.
Yeah. Well, of course. Yeah. And what a fucking sweetheart to be able to do it in the first place. Although I don't think I'll actually be able. I mean, fuck, it's Tom Hanks. He might be able to do it fucking perfectly, but I can't compare those two people. Like physically compare the two people. Like, I mean, both very sweet people, both fucking hilarious in their own right. In the sense of like just like the kindness that comes with just being able to make people like happier, But like I just think of Tom Hanks's big dumb face, and he's fooled me before. Shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched an entire FedEx commercial and didn't even know it.
I thought he had AIDS once.
Right. He was a kid, and then he was an adult? Holy shit.
And this is very Tony Danza.
Mona.
Which, by the way, there's a show that
Angela.
There's a Netflix show that he's in.
Yep.
With Josh Groban. Because I've been unplanned career transitioning.
Yeah.
I had time and I watched it. It's so fucking bad.
Mm-hmm.
It is so fucking bad.
No, it's because his son sucks. The main detective.
Yeah, it's Josh Groban.
Is it Josh Groban?
Yeah.
Why won't he stop smirking?
Because that's all he can do as far as acting.
Oh,
right?
he sucks. Like, Tony Danza's doing great. Like, honestly, like the backstory, that's really interesting. And like,
Because he's all, he's pseudo gangster related or esque. Well, he's a cop.
yeah, he was a dirty cop. Yeah.
Disgraced dirty cop.
Yeah.
But he was kind of a disgraced dirty cop, like but I'm doing good things for the people.
Right. I actually read something recently that
That show is so terrible.
Al Capone started the idea of having soup kitchens.
Really?
I could talk for hours, but we wrap this up. But I could talk for hours about the concept of like how those kinds of crime groups actually brought a lot of protection to the neighborhoods that they, and not just the protection like will pay us and there's no fires at your bakery or whatever, but like the actual protections like. When Bulger, when Whitey Bulger disappeared from that area of town, crime increased like 3,000%. And really, at the time, especially for someone like him,
Well, they built a wall.
if they'd only build a wall like Obama has around his 17-mile complex or whatever bullshit. No, but again, Al Capone was one of the first people to create a fucking soup kitchen.
Yeah.
Isn't that fascinating? Because he saw there was a prop. People didn't have money and they didn't have jobs, and he's like trying to make his huge fucking relationship with making sure that people around him maybe just weren't calling the cops on him or whatever. But like no matter the reason,
It's a mixture of altruism and also
Yeah.
ingratiating yourself into the community where they won't rat on you.
I can finally use this. Bless oblige.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
Oblige.
it's the concept that it's when a king is benevolent because he knows taxes come from the people beneath him, and that
Yes.
his life only exists because of those people, and he gives back to the community.
yes.
And I learned that from Tracy Jordan from 30 Rock. Oblige. Yeah, so we ended on a 30 Rock quote, so that's great. Let's go ahead and take our final goodbyes, I guess, whatever. Anything that we missed this week that we want to talk about?
It was the Russian anti-vaxxer thing, but I don't. That's too deep a rabbit hole for today.
It absolutely is.
We need to examine that because
It's so fun. It's so fun and gross.
that really may have been planted like 20 years ago and
Yeah.
has been proven to bring back measles.
Yeah. No, we have there's super polio now.
Yeah, but it may really have been Russian fake news like 20 years ago.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
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 We did it, guys. Well, no one here to plug, so I guess Dylan, thanks for helping me run the show.
It's going to be back.
No, it's good to be back. Missed your face so much.
Uh-oh.
If you like the show, you want to know more about the show, you can go to contentpenny.com. It's contentpenny.com. It's where all our podcasts, anything we've done before, you can see Drunkcast, you can see the foreign correspondents and the episodes that they've done with us. You can see the episodes we did for the Blindsided. Some other, go find some more podcasts and reach out to us on Twitter, Facebook, wherever. It's Content Pending the show or contentpending.com on Instagram. Any place where you can find content pending version of news, and let us know if you like any of the little podcasts because maybe we'll bring them back. It's hard to get activity when we're not doing stuff for a while, but also, some of you are fucking quiet. And if you don't think you're quiet, you can call or text 802-359-7468, 802-359-SHOT. Please leave a message. Tell us a thing you like or a thing you hate, and we will respond in kind. That's all that. That's this, and that's this. I think that's it. So, I'll say this. Love you so much, and good night. Bye.
Content pending.